Hi, Bruce Battles here, Technical Agronomy Manager. Today we're standing here in a field near beautiful Geneseo, Illinois, in one of our many Agronomy Research location sites that have several different trials going on. But today we're seeing one particular trial, and we want to focus on one topic, and that is sulfur. Sulfur is one of those topics that historically just is not been discussed very much in a lot of cases, and a lot of that's because it hasn't historically been a problem. Up until new air quality standards have been really starting to take place since from the changes from the 80s and the 90s and into the 2000s, we've really reduced the amount of deposition coming from the air and the sulfur amount that would actually naturally rejuvenate some of our fields there going forward. Due to those clean air standards, we now have to consider sulfur as one of the truly 16 essential nutrients that we need to manage on a yearly basis in some cases. And that's what we want to do today, is spend a little more time talking about sulfur and looking at some of the deficiencies here in this field and how to manage for those deficiencies if you find them in your field. Sulfur deficiency is commonly identified through the interveinal striping that you can see coming up through the new leaves and the whorl. A lot of times one of the things to really distinguish this from other nutrient deficiencies such as magnesium or zinc type of deficiencies that might also have striping in there, is to look at the new older growth down lower, and you can see that it'll still usually be green, dark green, without the striping in there as well. And that's because sulfur is not very mobile within the plant. Although it's mobile within the soil, it's not mobile within the plant, and it's not able to reallocate that from those lower leaves up in the new growth, causing the symptomology up above. One of the nice things about sulfur is once you've diagnosed the issue and realize that that's what you have present in your field, early season similar to this type of treatments can still be very effective for later in the season, since over half of the sulfur is taken up after tasseling. But now's a great time to look at your options in there. If you weren't able to apply through a planter, there are a lot of options to still do side dress, and since sulfur is mobile within the soil, it can move down within the root system and being taken up by the plant still. In general, the rule of thumb, a lot of times 1 pound for every 10 pounds total pounds of nitrogen that are being applied is a good rule of thumb. Usually that breaks you up into a range of somewhere between 15 all the way up to 30 pounds of total sulfate sulfur that would be applied for the season. Keep in mind that sulfur is mineralized, so depending on your organic matter, which it's mineralized from, it can have varying amounts. Lighter, sandier soils are going to mineralize much less throughout the season and be more dependent on nutrients being delivered supplementally, but high organic matter soils can receive quite a bit. As a rule of thumb, 2 to 3 pounds of sulfur for every 1% organic matter can be derived from the soils. So in our trials we're in today, you can see we've got some treatments that are already applied. Here on my left, we're looking at a sulfur treatment that was applied through the planter. So we applied 20 pounds with planting as the form of through ammonium thiosulfate. Now the salt index on that would be too high to put it in furrow, so we put it in a 2x2x2 placement so that we got enough space so that we won't burn or have any injury from the salt content on the roots. You can see on my right here where we're seeing deficiencies, those are plots that this is going to be treated here relatively soon, targeting a V6, so we're getting really close to that application time frame where we're going to do a side dress application of the same 20 pounds of sulfur rate. We'll also have within this trial additional untreated checks where we didn't apply any sulfur at all to compare that to. Throughout the whole thing, we'll be maintaining equivalent nitrogen rates in the checks as well as this, so that's not a bias factor. But look forward to this fall having a lot more yield information on this particular site individually to understand the timing effect. As we can see, the planting application definitely made a response. So we want to have a better understanding as to how the ability to recover yield in a situation like this where we've had severe deficiencies occur at this early in the stage. So we got a lot of time throughout the growing season for the plant to recover if it is like this, but obviously we want to shoot for these more proactive, preventive type of approaches from a fertility standpoint. Sulfur deficiency may not always be as uniform as we're seeing in this field here today. In a lot of cases, especially in fields that have ranging organic matter availability due to that, you may see spottiness in through there. So look for low organic matter areas of the field and scout those first. Eroded hillsides are always a first areas to see the first symptoms of it as well. So keep those in mind as a little quick scouting tip. So now's a great time of the year to scout fields and look for symptomology like what we just showed here in this, and assess what you might want to do for this season, but also think ahead to in future years in how you want to manage sulfur in your own fields. So if you like today's video and you want to see more of those, don't forget to, at the bottom of your screen, hit like, share, or subscribe to this channel, and make sure you're able to access new and additional videos as they come out. With that, Bruce Battles, Technical Agronomy Manager. Thank you.